Good afternoon, Steel City. Welcome to the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this beautiful afternoon, our 66th edition, live from the original podcast room of the Black and Gold Paraphernalia. Today's show, the 2025 NFL Draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is less than a week away. We have two quarterbacks on the roster. We have a legendary first ballot Hall of Famer holding the team hostage with a decision. But we do have the draft coming, and my final thought is the Steelers will be making a big trade for a quarterback. We'll give you the Yinzer Report's top draft picks and worst draft picks throughout the years, plus a comment by Terry Bradshaw. This quarterback wants more respect for what he did. You know what? I agree. Hashtag, here we go. The Pittsburgh Penguins 2024-2025 season has ended. I have some comments from head coach Mike Sullivan and the captain himself, Sidney Crosby, as well as a star-studded recap of the last game of the season between Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. Let's go, Pens. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2025 season is off to an up and down and choppy waters type start. The ship goes on to lose 3 in a row, with 3 in a row lose despite a crazy rally last night. When hopes come today as Paul Skeens is pitching versus Cleveland on his bobblehead figurine day. Let's raise the flag today with a W. Let's go Bucks. We have the Yinzer Chatter Chat open today for this episode, which I am dedicating to myself, my 29th wedding anniversary, which was on April 19th, 1996. Me and my lovely wife are 29 years to the day married. I will start today's shows off with tremendous sponsors, IE Sports Radio's new sponsor, Vital, along with the amazing Planet Jerky, premium beef jerky, the jerky that's on another planet. And Seal the Deal Wax Seal Wax Stamps. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. Plus IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports and why we are on the air doing the Yinzer Report. Steel City, Pittsburgh, please come join me, my 66th episode, 45th live on StreamYard. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ralph Calise, your host for the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And those are our sponsors. We're doing the show a little different. We're playing four sponsors at the beginning, and those were the four sponsors you heard. As always on the Yinzer Report, please do not discount our sponsors. They mean a lot to us, and they really help us along in our journey here with IE Sports Radio. Let's get into another new sponsor that we will be having a drop for coming soon, I believe. And this newest sponsor is Raw Nutrition Supplements. GetRawNutrition.com. You can get it there. And use the promo code for IESR for 10% off for your raw nutrition needs. Check them out. We'll go over my contacts here for the Yinzer Report. This is all on X, Twitter, or however you like to call it these days, X only. This is at Yinzer Report _IE. That's the show's account. I'll be tweeting out on there about Pittsburgh sports. And you have my personal account at KaliseR786 with any concerns or ideas or whatever you want to get in touch with me there. I have a lot of fun stuff on my personal account too. You can find me there on, as I said, however you deem it these days, X, Twitter, or X or just Twitter. We have some exciting news for the Yinzer Report. I'll just put this out there before we get going. The Yinzer Report is going to be on at a new time starting this Friday coming up. Our new time is going to be at 7 p.m. instead of the recently 8 p.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time instead of the 5 p.m. Pacific time. And the reason being is IE Sports Radio has a show that is headed by Larry B. It's called A Defining Moment. And he is using that show as going to be the spearhead for IE Sports Radio. So I gave him the slot to promote his show back in his original spot where he used to do the Sports Couples Perspectives with Cecilia B., his wife. And he's now back in his time slot promoting, doing the show, The Defining Moment. And he was gracious enough to move me back. I asked for the 7 p.m. spot because I wanted the show to have its own time slot because it's going to be the flagship show for IE Sports Radio. So we're going to be now on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, as I have written there in the yellow bubble. So keep that in mind. I'll remind you guys again at the end of the show. And today's show is dedicated to myself and my lovely wife, Dawn. Today is our actually our 29th anniversary. So happy anniversary to me and my wife of 29 years. And I didn't even realize that the show was scheduled for today on my anniversary till like late yesterday. So I put it out there on social media today about the anniversary, and I thank everybody who commented happy anniversary to me in my IE Sports Radio app there. I appreciate you guys. You guys are a great family, and I love doing this, and you guys know that. And this is IE Sports Radio, and the Yinzer Report has been doing pretty well of late, so we're going to try to keep it going. And to keep it going, to help out, if you guys really want, we have a supporters link, which I'm trying to find here. And what it does is, if you are really interested in the Yinzer Report and you want to help me along in my journey here in podcasting with the Yinzer Report and keep the Yinzer Report as a show on IE Sports Radio, I can't find the it. All right, it's not there. The supporters link. You could click on the supporters link. You can find it for the Yinzer Report out there on social media, and you could click on that. And what you do is you send $5 a month, and that helps the Yinzer Report show with the backgrounds and the show itself and anything I might bring up or show you out there. Plus, it helps the radio station and everything else that goes on along with that. So, thank you for that. If you're interested in that, I gotta try to get the link up. I'll look for it during the first break. What else before we start here? So, as you heard, I had the IE Sports Radio drop in there, and as you can see, I have my merch on today. It's a beautiful black and white shirt. They have all different types of colors. They have women's clothes. They have men's clothes. Head out to the iesportsradio.com and you can get your merchandise there. And we'd appreciate any type of merchandise you would pick up from them. All right, so let's get to why we are doing this. And we're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Pirates. As you see, I wrote there. Oh, don't forget the Yinzer Chatter chat is up. If anybody wants to comment in the chat, it is up there. I'll get to the comments shortly. And, we have fun with that when we do that here on the Yinzer Report. So as you see, as I put in the yellow bubble there, I like pointing to it so you guys know what I'm talking about. Pittsburgh Pirates up and down season looks to be the way it will go all year. Another reason the show was rescheduled today because last night I was at you guys know I do the show from New York, so I was at a Mets game last night. I went to see the Mets versus the Cardinals, and what a game it was. The Mets had a walk-off. Francisco Lindor hit a game-winning homer. And, I've been to many baseball games, and I will say that is the first walk-off home run game I've ever seen in my career of going to baseball games. So the show is rescheduled today at 12. Otherwise, we probably would have been on at 7 last night. Probably would have started last night because, as I mentioned, we're going to be moving to that time slot. And the first show for the defining moment was last night. So hopefully everybody out there caught it. And, so that's the reason why we're on now. All right, so let's get into this. The Pittsburgh Pirates, their roller coaster season moves on after getting swept by the Cincinnati Reds in a 3-game series, totaling just 5 runs. Okay, so this was before they came home, and they played the Nationals, and they swept them. So they won 3, they lost 3. And there was question out there: are the Pirates wasting Paul Skeens? You see, everybody mentions Paul Skeens with the Pirates because he's basically the only thing that is really there to root for right now. There's nothing there. And this guy, like last year, we spoke many a times, and even this year a little bit. He took the team by storm. He took Pittsburgh by storm. He's already, I would say, an icon out there in Pittsburgh. And an article came out on the Pirates wasting Paul Skeens and letting the 2025 MLB season slip away. So as of last Wednesday, they entered a familiar position, last place in the National League Central, and in possession of the senior circuit's second worst run differential. It's early yet, and it's only fair to disclose that the Pirates are without some key players: right-handed Jared Jones, first baseman Spencer Horwitz, and second baseman Nick Gonzalez among them. Nevertheless, it's a fair look to the Pirates. And to ask the obvious question, are the Pirates about to waste the season for Paul Skeens? As we know, quick recap, Skeens is now 22 years old, has quickly made a mark on the league since debuting last May. He might be the single best starting pitcher in the majors, having amassed a 1.7 ERA plus over his first 27 assignments. After coming in third place for the National League Cy Young Award in 2024, he is the clear favorite this year. And while he is the early stages of his first full season, the clock is already ticking on his long-term future in Pittsburgh. How far Pirates owner Bob Nutting is willing to stretch financially to keep Skeens around is to be determined. The Pirates haven't spent much as $90 million on an opening day payroll since 2017. However, it's only a matter of time before more and more of the Pittsburgh is already limited financial resources are earmarked for the staff ace. That paints an ugly picture right there, because they're already giving up on. They're going to give up on this guy. The Pirates have to get an ownership in there that knows how to manage a player with a talent like this and a salary. I'm sure they have the money. Skeens is all but certain to blow certain money numbers away. A scary thought for a team employing just 2 players with a salary above $8 million. And those 2 players are Mitch Keller and Brian Reynolds, and they're combining to make $27 million. Factor in the possibility of an injury, sad reality for every pitcher, and the best time to start constructing a winner around Skeens was last winter. The next best time is right now. Yeah, so the Pirates did nothing in the offseason to really help this, help the pitching staff. I mean, like I said, we keep talking about Paul Skeens, but there are guys on that pitching staff that are like Jared Jones and Mitch Keller. These guys are ace pitchers. They could be ace pitchers on any other team. Continuing on, you wouldn't know that the base of the Pirates' cadence, as the Yinzer report already addressed Pittsburgh's uneventful offseason. It wasn't for a lack of curiosity on the 60th general manager Ben Cherington's part. The Pirates did inquire on some notable players this winter. Sources with other front offices were confirmed to that. Alas, those talks never progressed to an agreement. Pittsburgh's lack of urgency and explicit action has seeped into the regular season in a few notable ways. Yeah, we've discussed those notable ways the past couple of weeks. Some teams are a little too quick to remove a struggling reliever from the ninth inning. The Pirates cannot be accused of that crime because their closer, David Bednar, who was a two-time All-Star, was permitted to keep the closer's role into the season, despite having a 5.77 ERA in 2024. And that poor guy, he digressed a lot the end of last year into this year. Moving on, these Pirates haven't just accepted submittable results in high leverage situations. They've continued undercutting their team defense by experimenting with O'Neal Cruz in center field. Cruz, a converted shortstop, first moved to the outfield late last season. His experience out there is evident in both the quantity and quality of misplays. Cruz accordingly ranks near the bottom and outs above average amongst center fielders. It's clear why the Pirates wanted to give Cruz a center shot. He's fast, long striding runner with a big arm. There exists a parallel reality where he takes well to the grass and perhaps even blossoms into a plus defender. At the same time, one evaluator with a rival club recently quipped that the pitching staff should revolt if the Pirates don't move him to a corner slot sooner than later. First base would be a most obvious spot. The Pirates have been using catcher Edney Rodriguez and utility man Emmanuel Valdez there during Horowitz's absence. But neither regular corner outfielder has played well. There are other nits to pick with the Pirates' casual approach to business, but those two examples in particular illustrate the fundamental clash. No one should envy Cherington, who has the impossible task of trying to build a window with a laughable budget. Well, according to that statement, maybe they don't have the money. Still, these debates are going to continue to rage for as long as the Pirates themselves, by necessity or design, are proceeding like they have ample time to get things right. All the while, everyone else is urging Pirates not to rush, but to hurry before it's too late. As mentioned here on the Yinzer report, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, I said the season was in peril very early when they lost those 3 games at the beginning of the season. And they lost them all on walk-offs, and that was the first time that's ever happened since 1924, if you remember that show. So they had won 3 of 4 from the Nationals. It was 3 in a row, and then the Cleveland game was last night, so they lost 11-7. They had a furious comeback, but it fell short from what I saw. Although their strength has been the starting rotation, as the Yinzer report has reported many a times here for the beginning of the season. And out of that, 3 out of those 4 winning streaks where they won the 3 in a row, they had 26.1 innings, 16 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 5 walks, 15 Ks, and they had a 4 quality starts and a 1.37 ERA. So the pitching is holding up their bargain. Skeens in his last start put him in MLB history book with recent call-up Henry Davis, who was a catcher. They became the first battery of number 1 picks to play in MLB history. So right there, he's in the major league history again. Paul Skeens for pitching to a catcher being number 1 draft picks. The Pirate attendance, now we're talking about budget. This is where the budget comes in. The Pirate attendance so far this year is suffering. Their last 5 games have accumulated less than 9,000 fans. As of all of last season, there had only been 1 game with a paid attendance at this point with less than 9,000. I didn't get to see what the attendance was last night. But that's 8,000 people. I mean, I know it's still cold in Pittsburgh, but baseball is really loved out in Pittsburgh, and they should be getting more. Now, this is a little history lesson I saw. So this involves the Steelers. So this black and gold Steelers Pirates history lesson for everyone. You got everybody out there has heard of it. If you don't, you can look it up. The immaculate reception by the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a playoff game versus the Raiders, and it was a last play, and it was Franco Harris picked the ball up off the floor, which some people say he didn't, but he did. and he ran into the end zone, and that led the Steelers to their first Super Bowl win with that playoff win. But anyway, getting back to the history lesson for everyone, the Immaculate Reception and Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit, that was his 3,000th hit of his career, are two of the most iconic moments in Pittsburgh sports history. And what I had found out is, you guys remember I've been doing the shows about the turf, the pieces of turf where I've been getting autographed. I have that project going with the gentleman who sends me the pieces of turf, and I send them out and I get them signed. Well, these both happened at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and there are monuments for the Immaculate Reception and Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit of his career. These two monuments are 20 feet apart from where it happened. So what I'm saying is the Immaculate Reception, where Franco Harris, let's just say, caught the ball in that playoff game, and the hit where it landed, this 3,000th hit, the baseball where it landed, they're 20 feet apart in monuments by PNC Park, which is basically was built where the Three Rivers Stadium was knocked down, and they're 20 feet apart. I never knew that. I can't wait to get to PNC Park, man. I'm going to be taking photos of that. I'm going to photo out on that. That's incredible. That's incredible. Two iconic Pittsburgh moments, and they happen 20 feet apart. Good job by the Pirates organization to have monuments for both of those. I'll give them credit for that. So just getting back to that, of course, at Three Rivers Stadium, this happened. Clemente's happened. This is another good fact. Clemente's happened on September 30th, 1972. And the Immaculate Reception happened on December 23rd, 1972. And that is a 90 days apart. So not only did they happen 20 feet apart, they happened 90 feet apart. 90 days apart. That's insane. That's insane. So it finished up saying 20 feet apart. There are murals of each near PNC Park, where Three Rivers Stadium once stood and where it both happened. Hey, that's some iconic stuff right there. So I dug that out for you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed that. I sure did. I enjoyed it when I read it and I found it. I enjoyed it more telling it out to you guys. All right, so that's what we'll go for the Pirates. They play today. They're playing at 4:00. If you're in Pittsburgh, and I don't know, it should be a hot selling crowd today, because today is Paul Skeen's bobblehead figurine day. And I have mine on order. It's already on order because I'm not there, of course. But that's going to be, I think it's going to be close to a sellout today. And there are going to be people definitely going in to get that bobblehead. Whether they're going to keep it or sell it or whatever they're going to do, that's going to be a hit of a bobblehead, of a giveaway, special giveaway. All right, so we're done with the Pirates. Let's get into the comments as we have here. And here we go. First one up is, let me show it. There we go. Raymond Man, my man. Hey, Ralph, have a great show. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. And there he is, my man, Larry B. Wow, Larry, thanks for joining in. He's actually doing another show on IE Sports Radio right now. He's doing a mock draft, and it's called the three and out, and he's doing a mock draft with three other co-hosts of shows on IE Sports Radio. Thank you, Larry. Thanks for tuning in. Good old Mary Shea, our good friend Mary Shea. Have a wonderful show. Happy anniversary. Love you both. Thank you, Mary, and same back to you. You know we love you as well. And Larry B's back in the comments. Happy anniversary. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity again. My nephew, Danny Mann. Hey, Ralph, have a great show. Thank you, kid. Thank you very much. You know you mean a lot for IE Sports Radio out here. I think I'm going to have you on one day as a guest and have you explain what you do for me here. And Larry B is back. Hey, Larry, you should be doing a show. What are you doing? That's great. I love you, Larry. You know that. Go, Ralph. Thank you very much. And there it is. There's the start of the Yinzer Chatter Report. Thank you very much for the comments, and thanks for everybody tuning in. All right, we're going to take a break. Hold on. One more just popped in. Hold on. Let's get it up there. Mikey Guns, my man. My Hall of Fame brother from IE Sports Radio. My man who I try to look up to when he was here at IE Sports Radio with his Boston show, Out Bleepin' City. He has left to move on to better himself out there with Boston sports, catch his shows, catch his social media. He's out there. He does a great job with Boston. And he comments, hey, bud. Mikey, what's up, my brother? How are you? Hope all is well out there in Boston. All right. I need a drink of water. Let me get to the this is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Here are a couple of my colleague shows, and I'm going to start it off with this drop because it's a special night tonight. And everybody out there who knows this, yeet is going to happen tonight. So I'm going to start the drops off with this because of what's happening tonight, and I'll explain it when I get back. All right, this is, again, Ralph Calise, your host, IE Sports Radio, the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio direct feed for all that is sports.
The roar of the crowd, the drama and pageantry, the adrenaline rush and decadence of the world of professional wrestling. Join yours truly, the SoCal Saint, for the best pro wrestling podcast going today, the IE Wrestling Show, exclusively on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Join us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, every Wednesday, the IE Wrestling Show. It's just too woo!
Are you a Tar Heel, Blue Devil, Demon Deacon, or maybe even a Gamecock? Do you cheer for the Panthers, the Canes, the Crown? And check out the Carolina Sports Update every week with me, Neil Curtis, to get the latest and greatest on all the sports action in the Carolinas. We'll be talking pro sports, ACC and SEC football, basketball, baseball, and everything in between. We'll even talk a little Formula One racing now and again. So, for the best hour of Carolina sports coverage, catch me each week on Carolina Sports Update with Neil Curtis, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. This is Ralph Calise, your host for the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. Just let's go right back to the chat as we get back here. Here is a couple of more comments, and there's my nephew Danny, man. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeet, and I'll get to that in a second. Dave R. All right, this is someone new. I'm not sure who this is, and I'm sorry about that. Harris didn't catch it. The refs cheated. Let's go Raiders. Yeah, that's the whole thing about the immaculate reception, like I said. Dave, all I could say, yeah, if he didn't catch it, it's in the record books as a catch and a Steelers win. And yeah, if I was a Raider fan, I'd feel the same. I'd feel the same. And let's just leave it at that. Thank you for the comment, and thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so that's so far the comment of the day right there. I like that one. That was good. That was good. Somebody questioned me on the immaculate reception. Great job, Dave. Great job. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so Dave is down. Let's get back to this. And yes, just before we get into the Steelers, as I put in the bubble there, what I played was the drop for the IE Sports Radio Wrestling Show with the SoCal Saint and T5. I believe T5 show is coming up shortly. He does New Orleans sports also, and they do a great job. They talk about wrestling because that's what we are here at IE Sports Radio. We've branched out. We have all types of different sports we talk about. We have NASCAR racing. We have, like I said, wrestling. We have a soccer show coming up, believe it or not, which is going to be insane. I can't wait for Mrs. Jess's first episode for that. And yeah, you can find anything, any city you want, any type of sport or activity that involves athletes or people like that on IE Sports Radio. So check everything out. Just go to iesportsradio.com and do that. But getting back to the Yeet comment, it is WrestleMania weekend. And tonight is the first part of WrestleMania. And the first match of WrestleMania is going to be Jey Uso versus Gunther for the title. And if anybody out there knows wrestling, like my nephew just put up there, he put Yeet. Jey Uso has taken the WWE by storm with his yeeting and when he comes out to his music, and it's really insane. And he deserves the title. He's been wrestling great lately, and yeah, I think tonight's the night we're going to be yeeting. We're going to be yeeting everybody out there who is a Jey Uso fan. So, all right, I got off topic there. We're talking about wrestling. I'll leave that to Martine and T5 for their show. But let's get into this Steelers stuff. So. The draft is less than a week away. Okay, let's get rid of this first. Aaron Rodgers was out there this week. He was on the Pat McAfee show where he has his regular time slot. He does it. He decided to show up, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I feel he's holding the Steelers hostage for sure now. And because after what he said, I don't think he's coming to the Steelers now. I honestly don't think he's coming to the Steelers. I have another thought. But here's what he said. He said, this is, I guess, his most important thing that he said on the show. And just listen to what he says, because it's you can see it's in there. And he didn't do anything wrong. Don't get me wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. But just listen to his comments. I don't think that it is fair to the Steelers or anyone to make a decision when I'm dealing with a lot of off the field, but I'm dealing a lot with off the field at the same time. I want to keep the lines of communications open, and that's why I've talked to all the important people. The people that need to know what's going on, the people that don't make up shit about me and really hasn't changed since COVID, when COVID was around. All right, so he's saying it's not fair to the Steelers to be making these decisions that he's playing and not. The Steelers know already. Come on. You can't have an NFL franchise at this point in the season going into a draft knowing that your quarterbacks on your roster are going to be Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. I honestly don't even know who Skylar Thompson is, okay? Honestly, I'm going to be truthful with you guys. I haven't looked them up. Mason Rudolph, yeah, I know Mason Rudolph. I don't know Skylar Thompson. I didn't even think he was going to be on the roster when the season came around. But getting back to Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, they have to have a plan in place. And then here's what I'm thinking. Are they going to draft a quarterback? Definitely. What round are they going to draft a quarterback? That's going to be the problem. Now, this stems like even if Aaron Rodgers is signed or even if he's not signed, because here are the key points to his interview that I wrote down that he was on with Pat McAfee. Okay, so he said in this little thing I read, he's focused on his personal life right now. He hasn't given the Steelers an answer, but in respect. He's doing it, I feel, in respect. Although I'm saying he's holding him hostage, but he actually did it in respect. He did say money was not an issue, okay, because that's been out there. Not waiting for the Vikings, which I think was all BS from the start. He loved the meeting in Pittsburgh, which we reported here. We all knew that. And here's what I'm saying. The draft won't impact his decision. And the Steelers haven't even given him a deadline. So right there, it tells you, I don't think he's coming to the Steelers. I'll read it again. The draft won't impact his decision. He's either going to be a Steeler whether they draft a quarterback or not. So even he could go both ways there. And the Steelers haven't given him a deadline. Steelers are like, yeah, whatever you want. Let us know what you want to do. That's why I'm saying they got to have something in mind. Draft day coming up this Thursday. And what I'm thinking is they are going to make a blockbuster trade, okay? And I'm not talking about a blockbuster trade where they move up. I'm talking a blockbuster trade for an NFL quarterback right now. Okay? That's what I'm saying. You can't go on with just waiting for this guy, especially with his comments and when he came out with McAfee and all that. You can't. I have a feeling that because this is like Mike Tomlin's. This is his tooth to go right here. He screws this up. He's gone. He's gone. I don't care what Art Rooney thinks. He's gone. The fans in Pittsburgh are going to push him out of Pittsburgh, and this is all going to be on him. So that is my thought. When the draft comes up, keep an eye Thursday when the draft happens. Look for the Steelers to make a blockbuster trade. And yes, it's going to be a trade for a quarterback. And I'm saying it's going to be a blockbuster deal for a quarterback that's already out there from another team. All right? They got something up their sleeve. They have to. And if it's a blockbuster deal where they move up in the draft and they get whoever they want, then so be it. But you're still only going to have 3 quarterbacks on your roster. You have to go into camp with 4. I got to look into this Skylar Thompson guy. I now it's bothering me because I really haven't done my due diligence on the quarterback, Skylar Thompson. So I know he's there for a reason, but I'll have to find out why. All right, so that was that with the Aaron Rodgers. So keep an eye. Just remember Thursday. Well, I'll be on Friday at 7, and I'm going to try to get my son on because it's draft time and he's really into this time of year. He's like he's my draft guru. I go to him for anything on these players that are coming out of college because he's all into that. So we'll have him on. He's not too happy with the Steelers right now, so we'll have him on Friday and we'll go over the first draft pick, and maybe the Steelers will have a couple of draft picks while we're on, and we'll go over it. That should be fun. Yeah, so he'll be on. I'm going to try to get him on to come on as a guest next week. And we'll go from there. All right. So next up, I'm going to put up there for the Steelers is that they're doing their due diligence with their upcoming possible picks. And there is a thing out there called a pre-draft interest tracker. Sorry, interest tracker, pre-draft interest tracker. So what this is, it gives you what pro days they've been at. If the player had a 30-day visit come in, and if the Steelers saw them in the combine visit, that's what it says here. So when you look at this list that I have in front of me, right, there are some names on here that, let's say they stay at 21. Defensive lineman, which has been getting a lot of talk with the Steelers, and it was even on Mel Kiper's last draft before the draft comes up on that 4-letter station there. And they have the Steelers taking Derek Harmon, defensive lineman from Oregon. Now, if you have a quarterback set by that time, which I don't think they are, and this guy's available, I think this would be a great move for the Steelers. I actually like the pick by Mel Kiper because the defensive line is getting old. Cam Hayward is the leader of it, and they did lose a couple of guys there. They're going to have fill-ins, guys who played sporadically last year that played well. Have Keanu Benton there. You have Cam, and this guy is, go Google this guy. He's a monster. So he for a first round candidate, if they go that route, he's one of the guys to watch out for. Running back, which I'm trying to, not for a first round candidate, but running back from Ohio State, Travion Henderson. He was all three. The Steelers were at his pro day. He had a 30-day visit and a combine visit. They had a combine visit with him. So keep an eye out for that name. Other names that jump off this chart. They have another, for a second round candidate, they have another running back, Caleb Johnson, and he's from Iowa, but I think he's been running up the charts for the draft. He might be gone. And weird enough, so let's say like Aaron Rodgers does like sign before the draft, or they don't draft a quarterback in the first round, or whatever the hell may be. Keep an eye out for this name as a quarterback for them, and it's Jalen Milroe. He's from Alabama. Okay, this is the guy. They were at the pro day in Alabama, but he has not come in for a 30-day visit, and they weren't present at his combine, but they really courted him at his pro day. If you go out there and you read the article about Jalen Milroe and the pro day that the Steelers met up with him, they actually had a pre-pro day dinner with him, and he was very, very talkative of the Steelers, of how they treated him. So some other early round picks that they didn't go to the pro day, but they had 30-day visits and combine visits. With Shedeur Sanders, as we mentioned last week, wide receiver Matthew Golden, running back Amarian Hampton, he's from North Carolina, Jackson Dart, Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, a wide receiver, pro day visit and a combine visit, but he hasn't had a 30-day visit. And defensive back Jadee Barron is another. So keep an eye on those names. I'm trying to see if there's any more that jump off the page here. A lot of running backs, like in a second, third round candidate, DJ Giddens, Dylan Sampson, Elijah Roberts. Oh, he's a defensive lineman. I'm sorry. And as you go to the third and fifth rounds, they have some names out there. Actually have quarterbacks listed here in the third to the fifth round. Quinn Ewers from Texas, Will Howard from Ohio State, Kyle McCord, who just had his 30-day visit this past week. Again, another running back, Jaden Blue, 30-day visit and a combine visit. Savon Williams, a wide receiver, and running back Ollie Gordon, the third, a 30-day visit and a combine visit. So you could see right there how they're doing their due diligence with their picks. But, as I've mentioned on the Yinzer Report and other shows here on IE Sports Radio when I'm on, I don't worry about the Steelers drafting, because when they draft, if they draft anywhere from 4 to 7 players and they get those players from the draft, there's a good 3 or 4 that stick and they make the team and they stick around for their first 3 or 4 years. So, hey, the draft is next Friday. Let's see what happens. But just remember, I have a feeling they're going to make a big trade for a quarterback that nobody's been hearing about, because it's been quiet out there. And I don't think at this point Aaron Rodgers is coming anymore. I don't feel it. I came across this article about Terry Bradshaw. Now, as you guys know, 2 weeks ago I was out at a sports show at a meet and greet, and I met him. And this came out from that day, but I was on when I was online waiting to meet him. I didn't hear him say this, but this is pretty cool. Listen to what he said. So he's talking about respect on playing in his day, back in the day. He says, they don't consider me an elite quarterback. I won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, twice back to back. No radio in my helmet. That is a great comment right there. I called my own plays, no rules protecting me or my wide receivers, no tuck rule, no spy gate, no deflate gate, just me and my men. Wow. So he basically took a shot at the Steelers, who were in the playoffs with all those tuck rules, spy gate, and deflate gate. And those are games they all lost. They all lost to the Patriots. So right there, he's putting the Patriots on his list. Wow. Respect Terry Bradshaw. Respect the man. Respect the man right there. I love it. That is great. Great comments. Next time I see him, I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna tell him that I read it on the air. I did it on the air. That's great. So that's Terry Bradshaw. He wants respect. Terry, you don't need it in my book. You don't need it at all, pal. What you did was awesome. What you did was awesome. What you did was really awesome. So, all right, let's get into the. I'm going to get into a little thing with the Steelers that I came up with this week, and I came away with in the past 30 years some draft picks that were good and some draft picks were bad. I'll go through them, being that the draft is next week. I'll go through them real quick. I put down Steeler drafts, best and worst. I'm going to go back to 1974, and their best draft, of course, was 1974. One word for it was just legendary. 4 of the 5 picks became Hall of Famers, and those were Will Swan. Believe it or not, they had John Stallworth listed as a tight end. I never knew that. Tight end, wide receiver, John Stallworth, and Mike Webster. So those are 3 guys became Hall of Famers. And there was a defensive back in there named Jack Swirebrick that was also drafted in 74. But that was their best draft. So I'll go over the worst picks. So let's go last 30 years, like I said. I got down number 1 linebacker Jarvis Jones in 2013. Now, this guy was drafted out of Georgia, and he was supposed to be a really good up-and-coming linebacker from college, but he never panned out. Fell out of the graces with the Steelers' defensive coordinator at the time. And once you do that, you're in Mike Tomlin's gun sights there, if you want to call them the sights. And he's got definitely considered a bust. Number 2 was offensive lineman Jermaine Stevens. He lasted 2 years in Pittsburgh, played 19 games, and he had 11 starts, and that was in 1996. Yeah, that wasn't a good pick at all. 2 years, 19 games, and only 11 starts. Number 3, I put Devin Bush, another linebacker. It's amazing how the Steelers, you'll see as I get to the better ones, how they draft a lot of linebackers. They actually traded up 10 spots to get Devin Bush to draft him. Number 10. I'm going to look for that to happen this year. They're definitely going to be trading. They're going to trade somehow this year. Number 10, 2019. And he didn't pan out, and he fell out of the graces of the Steel defensive coaches and Mike Tomlin. Wide receiver Troy Edwards, who I actually liked back in the day when he played. Yeah, I remember meeting him at camp after he got drafted. He had the glaze in his eyes, like, wow, this may be too big for me. You could see it. He only lasted 3 years, 46 games, and 7 starts. So he played for 3 years and 46. He only started since he was a wide receiver coming in on third downs or off the bench for an injury. And he was the 13th pick in 1999. Yeah, so that was pretty bad. And I put down 2020, and the reason why I put down 2020 as the worst draft pick, they didn't have one. How could you go wrong with that? All right, now let's get to the best. All right, so of course, I'm not going to say them in order. I'll just do the years. I'll do it in the year order. 2003 at number 16, Troy Polamalu. 2004, number 1A, and your host here, Ralph Calise Hearts, as a Steeler fan, Ben Roethlisberger at number 11. And you remember that draft. That's where Peyton Manning went. That's where Eli Manning went. That's where Phillip Rivers went. And he dropped to the Steelers. And when he got called up, he had the gold tie on. And, oh, man, there's a whole story behind Ben Roethlisberger being drafted. I don't know. Maybe I'll go over it with my son next week when I have him on. 2005. Now, listen to this name. Heath Miller at number 30. I remember this draft in the Jets. They were looking for a tight end, and they passed on him. I think they were 2 picks before the Steelers. They passed on Heath Miller. And Heath Miller turned out to be a gem. 2 Super Bowl champions. Ben Roethlisberger's main tight end. Not just a tight end. He was a blocker. And I put down 2010 Marquise Pouncey, who is definitely going to be in the Steelers Hall of Fame. Whether he makes the NFL Hall of Fame, I don't know, but he was a great center. He was a great center as he carried the torch for Steelers in centers behind Mike Webster and DeMonte Dawson. And he came in 2010, and I believe we got the next great shakes last year in the draft with Zach Frazier. He's going to be a good one. And I put in honorable mention, 1987, first-round draft pick, my 1C as a Steeler fan, as my favorite, number 10, Rod Woodson. And go look up him on Wikipedia, and he just got a list of NFL accomplishments. Just to mention, Pro Football Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1993. And he did win a Super Bowl, but it wasn't with the Steelers. It was somewhere in Baltimore, which I'm not going to mention the team because I get sick every time I think about that. And, he's honorable mention as at number 10, Mr. Rod Woodson, my man. I did say 2 weeks ago when I went to see them at the shows, I handed them invites to the Yinzer report. I haven't heard nothing yet, so hopefully they at least get back to me whether yes or no if they want to be on the podcast. I think that would be insane. I don't know how I would do the podcast. I might have to somebody else host the podcast. Imagine me sitting here talking to Rod Woodson in the podcast. I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think. All right, let's go back to the comments before we get to the end. We're going to go over here. Back to the comments, and Dave R. is back in the comments, and he says, do you think they should have kept Kenny Pickett to develop? You know what, Dave? Again, like I said, I mentioned I was with Terry Bradshaw 2 weeks ago at a meet and greet, and he actually brought that up. He brought that up. He says, they did him wrong. They did Kenny Pickett wrong. They told him he had the starting job, and he came in for Mitch Trubisky when he started those games. He got hurt. I mean, he was a little off. It was his rookie year. And then his next year came, and he was the starter. He was deemed to be the starter. And he got hurt again. And that's when Mike Tomlin went ballistic that year. He had Mason Rudolph, and he just benched him. Kenny Pickett came back, and he benched him. He said, no, I'm going with Mason Rudolph, which Mason Rudolph led them to the playoffs that year. And I think he just got in their eyes, and where they didn't want him no more. He became, I don't want to say a bad seed in Pittsburgh, but he wasn't in the favor of the Pittsburgh coaches. Wasn't in their favor. And according to Terry Bradshaw, he also said to someone else he was talking to, I heard him say that, Kenny Pickett did request the trade to be traded from the Steelers after that year. So I would have loved to seen him try to develop. I mean, but hey, he's gone. He's now going to be he's all pumped up. He thinks he's going to get the Cleveland starting job out there in Cleveland. So hey, good luck to him if he does. Good luck to him if he does. And I have my best friend, wife's best friend, and my best friend, Mary Shea. Always liked Terry Bradshaw. How could you not? How could you not like Terry Bradshaw? Terry Bradshaw was not just a football player. He was big in TV. And as you know now, he's big in announcing. And great guy. Great guy. Love Terry. Love Terry. Yes, Mary, I agree with you on that comment. Love Terry. All right, so going to take break. Last break of the show. We're going to go over a little bit here, and we're going to finish up on the Penguins. And wow, we've hit 200 views for the day. Love it. Let's give a clap out there for the Yinzer report, hitting 200 today. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you out there for everybody tuning in. All right, so let's get to the break, and we'll finish up strong with the Penguins and go over a couple of things. And here is a new colleague of ours. He does the Arizona show.
Hello, IE Sports Radio family and other sports families. My name is Alden Kay, and I want to welcome you to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you're a fan of the Valley and the Grand Canyon State like me, then I've got the show for you. Tune in every week, where I will update you and give you the latest news for the Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, ASU Sun Devils, U of A Wildcats, GCU Antelope, and of course, the NAU Lumberjacks. Again, if you're a Valley sports fan and like all that is desert sports like me, tune in every week here on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you then.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you with the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. This is Ralph Calise, your host of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Ladies and gentlemen out there for the Yinzer Report, we have hit 215 views. Thank you very much for tuning in today. All right, so let's quickly get into the Pittsburgh Penguins, and their season has ended. They finished up this past week versus the Washington Capitals in a great game. It was Alex Ovechkin versus Sidney Crosby, which we'll get into in a minute. But the Penguins, they finished the season 33, 36, and 12. They finished 7th in the Metro. And the final game, like I said, was Thursday night versus Washington. And this was Ovechkin and Crosby's 73rd game versus each other in their careers. Washington, of course, is the top seed for the Eastern Conference in the playoffs, and Ovechkin now is the NHL all-time goal leader is the all-time, and he was going against the Stanley Cup winning Sidney Crosby 3 times in his career. This year, before this game, Crosby had 93 points, 32 goals, 61 assists, and Ovechkin had 67 points on 37 goals and 30 assists. That was coming into this game. Those are their stats versus each other. So Crosby also, before this game, had his 14-point game streak end at 14 games versus Boston on Sunday. Crosby, as we know, has been a gold standard for 2 decades. It sucks that the captain, Sid, will miss these playoffs a 3rd straight year. He deserves to be playing for another cup. Crosby was named the most complete player for the 6th straight season and voted by the players. He was voted by the players and for the NHL as the voted by the for the category. He was voted for the most complete player award for the 6th straight season, and that's voted by the players, the NHL players in the NHL, and he got 33.8% of the votes. So there's another award for his trophy case. On one note about one of the core players, Penguins defenseman Chris Letang, the D-man of the core 3 of the Penguins, underwent successful surgery to close a patent forum oval. PFO it's called, and the medical term for it is a small hole in his heart. His expected recovery is 4 to 6 weeks. Wow. Hope all is well out there with Chris Letang. Maybe he's been playing too long. Maybe he should think about retirement. I don't know. That's some kind of surgery right there. You don't mess around with stuff like that. And a game prior to when the Penguins played versus the Capitals the other night, their last game of the season, Evgeny Malkin was on a Friday versus the Devils, scored his 30th career goal versus the Devils. It was 514th of his career, passing Jeremy Roenick for 42nd place in AHL history. Ricard Raquel of the Penguins was a real bright spot this year. He set a career high in goals with 35, breaking a previous mark from 7 seasons ago where he was with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I guess at that point they were the Mighty Ducks. Or were they still the Ducks? But let's get into this game. Their last game of the season, it was a great 5-2 win, a good way to end up the season in Pittsburgh for the fans, fan appreciation night. And the Penguins showed up and did it. So update the record now into this game. They were 34-36, and they did finish 7th in the Metro, 12 overtime losses. They won the game 5-2, and Ovechkin added a record goal to his record goal total, and Crosby dazzled as the Penguins topped the Capitals 5-2 in the season finale. Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin put on a show in the regular season finale on Thursday night, showcasing their greatness in the Penguins' 5-2 win over the Capitals. Ovechkin finished his record-breaking season. Hold on, let me just put the banner up there. They got a banner. Yeah, we go. There it is. Sidney Crosby versus Alex Ovechkin. Enough said. Ovechkin finished his record-breaking season by netting his 897th career goal in the second period. Crosby, meanwhile, finished his 20th season in the NHL with a goal and assist to push him past 90-point barrier for the 9th time. The Capitals begin the quest for the franchise second Stanley Cup Monday versus the Montreal Canadiens. The 73rd regular season meeting between the two of the game's biggest stars was a rare one without stakes. The Capitals clinched the top seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs weeks ago. The rebuilding Penguins missed the postseason this year. Brian Rush scored twice. Get his name on the score sheet with the two NHL legends there. With his career best 31, he had a career best 31 goals this year. His second goal came on a ridiculous whip-around backhand feed from Crosby that gave Pittsburgh a 3-1 lead. Alex Nedeljkovic stopped 18 shots for the Penguins, and Ovechkin's 44th goal of the season moved him 3 clear of Wayne Gretzky, whose career record Ovechkin smashed earlier this month. Penguins' Crosby will turn 38 this summer, so there's no signs of slowing down. Pittsburgh GM Kyle Dubas will spend the offseason trying to upgrade the roster in hopes of returning the Penguins to contention before Crosby retires, though that might not be anytime soon. Pittsburgh paid tribute to Ovechkin with a video congratulating him on becoming the NHL Goal King. Ovechkin skated to center ice to acknowledge the crowd, which briefly broke out in an Ovi chant as a sign of respect for one of the franchise's biggest rivals. The number 2 is the number of players in NHL history to have scored 44 goals, 39 and older, and Ovechkin and a Hall of Famer, Gordie Howe. That is a great tribute there by the Penguin fans, giving a standing ovation. Yeah, Penguin hockey, man. You can't beat Penguins hockey. It's a sin that there is no playoffs. Really is. All right, so they had their exit meetings the other day, and I just took the comments from Mike Sullivan and Sidney Crosby, and basically all the comments that they had leaving the locker room there at the end of the season in their leaving reports. Mike Sullivan's was on building around the core of the group that is here in Pittsburgh. He said, I think the team is postured right now to try to make the next step towards being more competitive. I believe that there's a core group here that's worthy of building around, and that's our challenge. That's the process we are going through right now, and that pretty good comments right there. Coach Sullivan on looking ahead. So that sounds pretty positive right there. And like I said, in all the players, if you go and you could catch it, all their leaving the locker room as they cleaned out their lockers, all their comments, you could see they all had positive thoughts. And here's Sidney Crosby reflecting on the season and going forward. I feel like a lot of games walking out of hockey rinks at the end of the night, I felt we could have won. He had a lot of shots. We had a lot of shots, a lot of chances. It was different. Things, though, tough on all of us as a team. It's difficult when you're cleaning out your locker and you're just thinking how fun it's going to be in the playoffs, and we're not going to be in the playoffs. But it is important, and it also how much work you put into trying to make it happen. It's not a fun feeling when other teams are playing and you go home. And that's what Crosby said on missing the postseason. But he was very happy of the progress at the end of the season as they made that insane playoff run to try to get to that last playoff spot. But they fell short. All right. So that is the show for today, man. I went a little over. I haven't heard from IE Sports Radio personnel, so I guess it was okay. So this has been the 66th episode of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. And you guys out there, I put it up there. We hit the music here as the show is over. The Yinzer Report next week. Next week we'll have its new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. And don't forget, again, it is Easter weekend, so happy Easter to everyone out there. Pittsburgh, happy Easter all around the world. Happy Passover to all who celebrate that. And this is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. Here is the music for all that is sports. Remember, next week, new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. WrestleMania weekend starts tonight. And don't forget that first match. Yeet. Hey, Pittsburgh, thank you very much. 245 views for the day. I love it. I love it. Let's keep it going. Let's go for 300 next week. This is Ralph Calise, your host of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.